Let me try that again. Dolce. Hey, 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 hey. Let me say, hey, hold on. Hey, man, I mean, you know what the vibe is. You know what I mean? Like, you know what freaking time it is. What's understood don't need to be explained. Our Cleveland Browns are what? Are what? Yes. 3-8. I mean, that's not why we're here though, because we beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's why we're here. It's a victory Friday. And man, there is so much to unpack because like I didn't get to go on social media like I really wanted to. After the game, those are there live, Master Phil, what's up, baby Mason, everybody that was in the chat, you know what was going on, but that's neither here nor there. Um, but man, what why so much hate? Why are they so mad? Why is George Pickens out here fighting our team? Like bro, take a chill pill. It's fine. It'll be okay. Why is he in the press conference talking about I don't really think they're that good. The weather was an issue because they wasn't doing nothing for like bro, we gave y'all two turnovers when the weather got bad. And then y'all scored and then you couldn't do anything after that. So like I don't know. We'll get into that. Let me pull my notes up real quick because I had to go live on TikTok on this end because I don't got my other camera. So let me go ahead and pull up my notes real quick. Jerry Jeudy, we got to talk about him. Obviously, we got to talk about Myles Garrett. We got to talk about T.J. Watt. I still haven't seen. Have you seen? Bob's not here. Have you seen Bob? He must be with Bob. But TJ Watt must be with Bob because he ain't around. That boy's on a milk carton, and I think Pittsburgh is still out here looking for him. And it ain't snowing no more. Maybe they'll find his body in Lake Erie somewhere, floating up, trying to, drain the pain out with a little cold tub. You know how the Watts do. They be crazy like that. They probably swam his way back to Pittsburgh, honestly. But we'll talk about that. Mike Tomlin goes 0-8 in Thursday night games against the AFC North. An unbelievable stat. And I think we still gotta talk about Russ. We still gotta talk about a little bit of the Steelers. You know what I mean? Because while obviously we're like Goliath to Ravens and the Steelers at this point, like they can beat everybody else, but they can't beat us. Okay. While they are still that, man, I tell you what, I don't want to be a team facing the Steelers going into the playoffs because Russ still got it. Russ still got it, but. Shout out to everybody that was into the live stream yesterday. Shout out to everybody that's in the live stream now. Shout out to all the hater Steelers fans. I know y'all still crying. But let's get into just the box score first. You guys know how we get down. We go right to the box score. We go through the little play-by-play. We see how the game was going because there was never a point in time in this game where I felt like I was super nervous. I think obviously when we get the two turnovers back to back, that's when the nerves kicked in. But like everything leading up into that point, it was like, wow, we got a shot at this. Like, and you didn't really get that many those many feelings when it came to games throughout the season this year. So it was definitely nice to be on that side where it was like, oh my goodness, we might actually do this. And then obviously the two turnovers happen, and then you think, here we go again, and then somehow, some way they do what they did last year, and instead of finding a way to lose that game, they found a way to win that game. And that was ultimately the difference from last year and this year. We were finding ways to just single-handedly lose games. So it was nice to be back on that side. And it's you want to talk about controlling your own destiny, right? Like it's so stupid. We're not talking about playoffs right now, but you want to talk about controlling your own destiny. It's never been more go 1-0. You go 1-0 every single week. We are finding ourselves into that position. I had a video ready to go and I didn't upload it. But I want to rock with this theme for the rest of the year. And it's just like, why not give us one more round? What was it? It was one more shot, one more ride, because we know that this group of guys that are here right now, it's gonna get broken up. Whether now there's a lot of guys on one contract, 1-year deals, 2-year deals with options like that. There's a lot of guys that are on contract years that are gonna be looking for a payday. So you know that like this ain't gonna be the same band. They ran this group of guys back for a reason. And if there's one thing that I know about this Cleveland Browns team, despite this year, because this is I don't know how we're 3-8. I really don't. Because what I'm about to say is like, this is the one team, the one group of guys that I can be like, man, if anybody can do the unthinkable, if anybody can dust off that all the hate and dust off all of the 3-8 or all of the 2-8, because now that's when is the 1-0 start. If you can dust off all that 2-8 stuff and just get your swagger back, if this team can get their swagger back, you see what we can do. And you saw that yesterday, which brings me to my first point, is that when you talk about that swagger, when have the Cleveland Browns ever had themselves a bully? When have the Cleveland Browns been the bully? I've never in my life seen a Cleveland Browns player do what Grant Delpit did to George Pickens. Because usually we're Antonio Brown getting kicked in the face or by the punter or getting hit by James Harris across the middle of the field. Or usually we're on the other ends of stuff like that. And when you talk about AFC North stuff, the Browns never come into that type of conversation. And Grant Delpit is one of our cornerstone pieces. Grant Delpit is one of those guys who's not going anywhere. So as long as he's still here and he rocking with that type of energy, that's going to remain here. And you've seen Myles Garrett come out into the media and back that up. That's that swagger, that swag, that sauce, that's that drip that they had last year. And if I'm telling you now, like, I think if they can run with this mentality and do it, and whether they doing it, they don't got to do it for the coaches. They don't got to do it for the owner. They don't got to do it for nobody. Do it for the guys that you rode with last year, because they brought this back for y'all. Like, everybody was on board with running it back with these dudes. So why not go ahead and come out here and do it one last time and ride this thing out? Because if you go 1-0 every single week, you are in the play. I think it's like 99% chance or something like that. Like, you control your own destiny. And the Browns will be looked at as underdogs the rest of the year. The Browns will be looked at as a joke the rest of the year, ready to play spoiler. And that's how you can catch people slipping. You mix that with the fact that the expectation of this team coming into the season, knowing that the talent that the team has, knowing what they are capable of, this team, if there's any team that's more than capable of doing what we saw a few years back when the Detroit Lions did it, when they started out and they peeled off 6-7 games in a row at the end of the year. This is the same song. It's just the Cleveland Browns and the brown and orange and the stigma that comes with that. And yeah, good luck. Well, it's not happening. Give it up. Y'all cooked. But until it does happen, I think these dudes need to run with that mentality to like, damn, why can't we do this? We've done it before. We faced the adversity. We have our leader. Now, what was the one thing that I've talked about every single time that we go live? It was this team is missing a special type of leader. They're not missing talent. They're not missing an extra receiver. Obviously, the line could help, but you see what the line was doing. They were missing that Joe Flacco-esque presence, that leader, that guy that you, no matter what, he just brings that energy. And now that Jameis Winston is doing that and he's backing it up, I mean, that one interception at the end of the game was bad. It was bad. And then the turn, you can't get a turnover there, but guess what? He still found a way to come back and win. So at the end of the day, it was the same thing that we saw with Joe Flacco, but we found a way to win the game. If you can minimize those turnovers, they went back to the run game. This was as even as a game that we've seen from the Browns. 27 passes, 27 runs. Jerry Jeudy is officially our wide receiver one and thriving, right? They can make I won't say they make a push because we're not gonna get too far ahead. But if you rock with that mentality, it's like, man, I love my brothers. Let's ride. Like, let's band this together one more time and let's go out with a bang because we know we not gonna be together next year. At least not everybody, not this group of guys. But Jerry Jeudy, I want to know where all the haters are. I want to know where all the people that were in this offseason talking, oh my gosh, what a dumb trade. Laser Beam Barry does it again. Oh, what an overpay. Well, really? Because I'm almost positive now that Jerry Jeudy will probably be one of the most underpaid receivers in the league moving forward. If he continues the trajectory that he's going, you know how contracts are going in the NFL nowadays. You know players get buku money. Jerry Jeudy's contract is a steal. And it's just that simple right now. And moving forward, you can build with Jerry Jeudy. The thing that I was worried about most with Jerry Jeudy was he going to be able to take I didn't know what type of football player he was when we talk about the physicality side. Is he able to take the shots and hold on to the ball? Like, I was worried about the drop passes. He's taken so many big shots and held on to the ball where in years prior, we have seen so many Browns receivers drop those same exact passes. And if you can continue to get that is something that is that's special for a Cleveland Browns receiver. We don't get that often. So I think you can truly build with this Jerry Jeudy thing. And I know it'll come, but you got him on contract now. So while you got him on these next couple years, you better hurry up before we go, hey, I need an extension. I need that bag. Because he going to be a 1,300 yard receiver at this rate, especially with Jameis Winston throwing him the ball. I know it's gonna get messy down there, but whatever. But can we talk about our GOAT? Can we talk about our future walking Hall of Famer? Can we talk about the guy who came out here and said, I'm the one, I'm Neo, I'm the best. You gotta come through me. Can we talk about that? Because there have been a lot of I have nevers this year. I never would have thought we'd be 3-8. I never would have thought I've seen Myles Garrett come out and talk his talk the way that I've never seen a Browns player do that. Ever. And then when he comes out before the game in the press conference the week prior or during that week leading up, and he just says what he says, and then he comes out and goes 2.5, 3 sacks. And then not only just letting his play, but going back onto the microphone and saying, yo, I'm the best. Like, it gotta come through me. If Myles Garrett causes havoc that game, you're getting the leadership on the offensive side of the ball, and you're getting the leadership on the defensive side of the ball. And if he's going to be the Myles Garrett that he is that game and the game 2 games before, oh man, that 1-0 mantra is so real. Teams are going to throw up in their mouth when they play against. And I think you got teams right where you want them. The thing with the Browns is you can't set an expectation right now. I don't know why. I'm done setting the expectation. I know I said it before, but I'm never going to set this expectation on this Cleveland Browns team because for some reason, we can't do it yet. And you know what? Until we get to Brook Park, I've been doing it for the past 20, 30 years. I can do it another 4 more years by lowering my bar than what I expect them to do. So, you know what? I'm going to continue to be the underdog. I'm going to tone it back a little. We're going to be humble. We're going to talk our talk. But we're not going to be what I was doing this offseason and all that stuff because, like, we're not there yet. And that's fine. That is perfectly, perfectly fine. But Myles Garrett doing that, man, it's just, we got to give it up for him because, I mean, damn, I don't think anybody had Myles Garrett doing exactly what he did there. And as we're talking about GOATs, right? As we just talked about our GOAT, I think, the Cleveland Brown fans are bar none. We are the best fans in the world. And yesterday was a prime example because I feared that the Steelers were going to take over. You heard them in that first little quarter, right? And it's funny how we're talking about this now because there was such a divide in us. Just, I mean, there still is a divide between us, but just a few weeks ago, where the Shelby Harris interview and it was the players versus the fans, what the fans did for the team yesterday, it's like I think the players, if anything, the players could have learned from this because do you understand where the players absolutely like this divide between us is crazy. But I think the players can learn something from this. Like, yeah, we just fed up, y'all. Like we tired, we hurt, we the expectation, we set it, and we were just failing short, and we came to this breaking point, and it sucks that it had to get there. But look at who we are. This is your Cleveland Browns fan base that we always have been, and we've more than likely bit our tongue when we probably shouldn't have. And this year just so happened to be one of those years where we didn't bite our tongue and we had throw up of the mouth of the words. But that team that came out here last year or yesterday in the snow and was as loud as they've ever been, that is the Cleveland Browns team that, or the Cleveland Browns fans that you get each and every week that will die for this team. So it's like, I was on the show on the Lamb podcast. I was on the round table. I was on our live stream, on our podcast talking about it. And just about how like it's gonna be tough to do that draw. Like I still think you're gonna have to battle the aura, the stigma, and all that stuff. But these next 7 weeks can really shift the direction from where it was going again. Because if they can string this again together and show those players and these coaches and these things, it's like, okay, I guess I can put that aside and maybe we can look at the context behind it and try to put together why it was what it was. We're not going to go back down that path on a Victory Friday. Absolutely not. But they could put themselves in a really good position if they just say F them picks. Like for real, guys, let's talk about the picks. Because quite frankly, everybody is... I think what fans need to understand is, again, this is setting the expectation. This is lowering the bar and understanding the situation at hand. The way that this season went is no way that the franchise wanted it to go, right? And I think there's still a little bit of time to salvage it. Very, very low percentage, right? You don't play that number. It's a Hail Mary at this point. But I think you see that you don't need a massive rebuild. You really don't. You need a bridge. You definitely are going to need a bridge because everything is geared towards the future. Everything is geared towards Brook Park. Like, we have to be honest in that aspect. You have to put that in your realization that in these next 4 years, as much as I want to be talking Super Bowl, as much as I want to be talking AFC Championship, I think that has to fall into our lap. I don't think that's something that is... They say it's their number one goal, and I think this was the year where they really dropped the ball and didn't capitalize on it. And I think now they're at a point where you've got to figure out this money. You've got to figure out the cornerstone pieces that are going to stay moving forward. They have to figure out the business aspect of it. And like Phil Taylor said on our post game after the Saints game, he's like, you got to remember, this ain't 32 NFL teams, right? This is 32 businesses. This is 32 companies, right? And knowing what's on the forefront, us as fans have to keep that into perspective as well. So now this opens up the conversation again where it's like, I know a lot of things, a lot of the talk around social media right now is this game more than likely solidifies Kevin Stefanski. And I think for the year, yes, because I think now there's some momentum in the locker room. I think now these guys actually can look at this and be like, you know what? I think everybody's week to week, year to year at this point. And like I mentioned a few minutes ago, it's like, if you don't want to do it if you're not going to run through the wall for your coach, do it for your brothers, right? Do it for the dudes that you love and that you built this swag with and that you built this 1.5 year legacy with, you know what I mean? Like, do it for them. And I think that's where we're at right now. So they got themselves a prime opportunity to retain Kevin Stefanski for this year, Move into next year with Jameis Winston. Let him rock in with that. Find something. Watson's going to be on our bench anyway. Don't let him start. Just let him be the backup and let it be what it is. Have another alternative just in case. And then I think you find a way to be very respectable in the up forefront, because the talent that you still have, Myles Garrett still under contract, Denzel Ward still under contract, Del Pitt's under contract, JOK's under contract, David Njoku still under contract. The main pieces that you're going to be worried about are your running back position, where Nick Chubb, you got to figure out what you're going to do with him. You got to figure out your offensive line, because let's be honest, Joe Patonio may be done after this year. Wyatt Teller has been in trade talks for the past 2 years. Ethan Posick, I believe, is coming up on a contract year as well. So it's like everybody wants to go get Cam Ward in this new shiny quarterback, but it's like, number one, we ain't got no business doing that. Number two, we need to go back to our stable, which is our offensive line. This draft, the way that this is going has trade down written all over it. And I think it would be, for once, the smartest thing to do. You can accumulate, if there's a quarterback hungry team, they can give us another pick for next year. And then boom, now you're getting your offensive lineman this year. You're getting 2 first round picks next year. Like, you can set yourself up going into Brook Park with a lot of toys, with a lot of talent, with a lot of hope. But they got to play this right, and they got to make sure that they keep that stigma out of the window. They got to keep that Browns is the Browns stigma as far away as they can. They're not out of the clear yet. This one win, it does not do anything. But what it does do is it gives you a chance. So they got to run with that, especially for the guys that I mentioned that are under contract. But with all that crap being said, let's go ahead and talk about these. Oh, you know what? One thing that I do want to talk about, since we're talking about the Brook Park, isn't it sad? Just a little bit, just a lot, right? When you put this into perspective, this was one of the most instant classic AFC North games that you could get. It was clear 1 second, and you could walk out of the room and come back in and see snow covering the field the next. It looked like you were watching a black and white fuzzy TV at one point. There was so much snow, and it had Browns Steelers written all over it. In 2029, we will never see this again in Cleveland. There will never, ever be another game like we've seen yesterday. Isn't that kind of crazy to think about? Because again, what would the environment have been like inside? You know what I mean? Like, how many people were out there with their shirts off yesterday? There were too many fans out there with their shirts off yesterday. And it's like Buffalo, Cleveland, even Pittsburgh. Like, when you're outside in the elements, you know what I mean? And it's just that AFC North. And like, they want to cry like, oh, the snow favored both of us yesterday, and the better team handled it and came out with the W. Like, that's AFC North football, and we are never going to see that again after we move to Brook Park. And it's one of those bittersweet moments, because seeing the parking lot and seeing how much snow was in the Muni lot and seeing all the fans and just feeling the energy radiating, like, you'll have that aspect of it, seeing everybody walk back, but you will never have that environment replicated ever again. And it's crazy. Yo, Angelo, appreciate the galaxies, baby. But enough of getting in our feelings, because as much as we want to protest a dome and all that good stuff, it's not happening, and we just got to brace ourselves for it. But I saved it for last because I don't really want to talk about it, but I think it does need to be talked about, because They are in the AFC North, and we did just beat them. And I think one thing that we did see, and that I finally got to see, because as much as I watched the highlights of the Steelers games and stuff like that, like it's different watching it play by play and seeing how they are. Russell Wilson, dude, he makes them such a threat in the playoffs, and they played this whole situation perfectly with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. And I almost think the Browns could really take a page out of that book, because they have a Jameis Winston right now. And I think Deshaun Watson is going to remain on the roster. You can realistically keep him at number 3, right? And if they can find a way to do something or have a situation where the Steelers kind of have, and maybe get, it would be nice if they can get a Super Bowl experience. I mean, realistically, bro, I love Jameis, but if we're talking about this bridge thing, I know it didn't look great in Indy. I know what people would say, how old he is, this and that. But if you could bring in somebody to maybe, if you could bring Joe Flacco back, listen, I'm talking crazy talk. I'm talking crazy. I know it, because we got J-Bo. I'm perfectly fine with going the J-Bo route, but I'm talking about mimicking what the Steelers have done, right? Capitalizing on their defense, bringing in somebody who understands the playoff moment and who has won a Super Bowl. You see how valuable that is? What I'm saying is that weighs so much come playoff time, because they're going to be dangerous because of the tandem of Russell Wilson and Mike Tomlin. It's going to be crazy. Like, that is scary, because you're seeing Russell Wilson can still scramble. You're seeing Russell Wilson still has one of the prettiest deep balls, pause, in the NFL. And we know playoffs is a different beast, and we know the chip that he has on his shoulder, and we know what he can do come playoffs. And I know a lot of people are going to look back and be like, you know, do you remember what happened with Texans, Jordan? That's why you're saying Chef no. Like, I get it. I'm not saying you have to go back to Joe Flacco route. I just think it's different with Jameis Winston, because Jameis Winston has never been to the Super Bowl. He doesn't have that type of playoff experience like Russell Wilson has via and with Justin Fields. That's the only thing that I'm comparing it to. But I just think that the Steelers are in a very, very good position to be in, because of that aspect, man. When it comes playoff times, it's not like talent matters, yes, but at the end of the day, your defense matters, your coach matters, and your quarterback matters. And right now, they kind of got it with their quarterback. But again, hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. TJ! T! Come on home, man. Where you at, bro? Damn, bro. Hey, we go. I got the flyers going out at Office Max now printing, bro. It's cool, man. They need you. I ain't know. I just had to make sure y'all was doing y'all job. Like, if anything, I'll ask where he at. Like, where y'all? Like, where the heck is TJ Watt? Oh my gosh. How about that though? Before we end this, how about that? Fetty? Can we give credit? Matter of fact, is there a stat? How can I check lineman stats? How can I do that? PFF Browns lineman stats versus Steelers. Because Jermaine Fetty, I mean, I know he had the a couple full starts. I think he had a full start. But how about these guys holding this supposedly best defense, holding this defense and keeping TJ Watt an absolute mute? And it's so funny. You know what's so funny about y'all Steelers fans? I don't think y'all realize how much excuses y'all making as of late. How much whine? Like, y'all talk so much about Browns fans crying and whining and living in the past and doing all this stuff, but it's like, I'm sorry. Oh, you guys were chipping TJ Watt. See him one on one. What? What? I'm sorry. Myles Garrett is double teamed and triple teamed every day of his life and twice on Sundays. And you have the nerve to say, well, but well, of course he's not going to do anything if he's getting doubled all the time and he's getting chipped. What? Man, if y'all don't sit y'all crybaby asses down, because y'all sound like some real. I don't think y'all know how y'all sound. I don't think y'all know. Y'all 8-3, cool. But y'all make a lot of excuses for supposedly being, oh, we're so superior. Oh, we got 6 championships. My daddy drives an Aston Martin. But there's a scratch on that one. Imagine if it didn't have a scratch. Shut y'all crybaby asses up, all right? Because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. All right? Shit like that. But yeah, that's all I had to say. Let's talk to the chat, man. Let's talk to the chat. I'm sorry, we live on a pod. This is our first live podcast, so shout out to everybody on Spotify, Apple, or iTunes, wherever you watching the podcast from, YouTube, Twitch, X, TikTok, wherever y'all at right now. Shout out to y'all, and that's why I haven't really been involved with the chat right now, because I'm doing this live, so y'all tapped in and seeing this version. So if you missed it on the TikTok, you can go back on my YouTube or wherever you get your podcast from, and you can see it there. But let's get into some of these. Let's get into some of these comments. He say accurate description. We on YouTube first. We gonna go through YouTube real quick. Is Carson Wentz a bad idea? Yes. Master, what's up, baby? All the Steelers can do is live in the past. Haven't won in nearly a decade. Yeah, they ain't. I mean, we've won a playoff game more recently than them. What was Pickens getting into with Newsom? We didn't even talk about that. He don't want it. Like Newsom tweeted out, fake tough guy. Because when Grant Delpit, you want to get at, like, why everybody want to pick on the little brother? Why do everybody think it's sweet with Greg Newsom? Like, I don't understand. He gets so much disrespect. But when Grant Delpit was in your face, you wanted no parts. Zero. So Greg may have some merit to that, because you wasn't running your mouth Delpit bought that action. There's one thing I know. Delpit's about that action. Greg Newsom is a newborn daddy. He got a kid that he got to go to home to. He got a contract he trying to get. My man trying to go get paid, right? But when somebody your size, right? When somebody your height, when somebody on your type of time, right? When they get active, you ain't about it. Oh, okay. I like me some George Pickens, but I see who you like. I see you like to pick on the little kids. You don't want to really play the bully game. You don't really want to play the bully game, right? We got Wadey. What's up, man? What's up, dog? How you feeling, baby? Can the Browns get it done versus them? Can the Bengals get it done versus them? Yeah, they got the offense. That's what's crazy. Steelers own you? Really? Y'all 0-7 on Thursday night versus AFC North teams. I think y'all get owned on Thursday nights. 8-3. Y'all 3-8. Relax. Hold that L. Sit on it. Jay, what up, baby? Did you come to the town last night? I was hoping to see you in the Muty yesterday, bruh. Hope you had safe travels, man. It got crazy down here. Am I feeling better? Yeah, I feel better, man. I was going through it yesterday. I don't even know what the highlights gonna look like. I'm low-key scared to even look at the second half highlights. My stomach was going through a wrench. Honestly, Pickens just wanted to start and pick on the little people. He probably wanted to start John for no reason. He ain't about that life, man. Show some love for the backup tight ends. They made some crazy catches. Akins, Whitehurst, Blake Whitehurt. Oh my goodness, that one catch was crazy beautiful, bro. You wasn't in Cleveland. You was watching from the warmth of your house. Oh, I thought you was coming up. Maybe that was somebody else that got PGH in their name. Or I feel like there's a couple people that got that in their name. They big mad. Dan. They definitely big mad. Yes, that I wish somebody had the video of them. Apparently they had me on a jumbotron at the beginning saying "Go Brownies." I wish I would have saw that. Somebody else messaged me that. If anybody got that clip, please send it to me. What's up, Cam? How cold was it in the Munich? It was pretty chilly. It was snowing like it was winter wonderland. There was so much snow in the parking lot. Appreciate the W's, baby. Remember the last time the Steelers had a winning record? They were undefeated until the Commanders had proceeded to lose 5 games, losing to the Browns in a wild card. Good times. Good times. Who all went to the game yesterday? Or is anybody here that went to the game? What was the? I know I heard the environment was wild. Like, how many? What was the percentage of Steelers fans and Browns fans? I truly thought it was gonna be 50-50, but I heard Browns fans showed out. I heard they real life showed out. And I heard it too. 60-40. Okay, so there was 40. Guess who I talked to yesterday, chat? First time I ever got to talk to him. We had like a 10-minute conversation. I talked to a Cleveland Browns legend yesterday. Drive back was awful. It wasn't too bad. They had the roads clear. We waited. We didn't leave the Union lot until like 12:15. But I talked to Eric Metcalf yesterday. Cool dude, man. Cool dude. Got to asking some questions. Got a little inside scoop from a player perspective. You say there were 70% Browns and 30% Steelers? Really? Really? Oh, damn. I just invited somebody with a Jets logo. Let's see what they say. Thanks from a Ravens fan. Hey, y'all play who did the Ravens play this week? The Ravens played the Chargers. Oh yeah, it's the Harbaugh brother battle. It's the Harbaugh brother battle. Al Michaels, bro. Can we get some unbiased stuff on prime time? Like, this is a message to the NFL. Clip this and send this to the NFL. Y'all got to do better, man. Because I don't see y'all taking shots at other teams on prime time when I'm watching games like that. Why are we the only low-hanging fruit that y'all can seem to go to? Every time that there was something that y'all could have said that y'all didn't have to say, you said it anyway. It's very disrespectful. I ain't gonna take it too lightly. Now, I ain't nobody. But what I'm saying is, put some respect on us, okay? Because y'all wasn't throwing out no random stats. Y'all gave us that BS little 0-7 stat before the game. But where was all the stats during the game? I'm sorry, we won. I'm sorry, we were leading throughout the game. And yet somehow we was the butt of all jokes. I'm tired of it. Oh, and by the way, how in the hell was there no targeting or 15-yard penalty, excessive hit on a useless defense on Cedric Tillman? Wait. But let me guess. Y'all gonna come out, right? Y'all gonna come out and in 2 days and be like, oh yeah, we fined him $43,000 for that hit. Cool. That don't help us in the game. Y'all gotta do better, man. All this disrespect that y'all throwing towards Cleveland, y'all gonna put that to bed, especially when we get to Brook Park, because we putting too much money into this NFL economy with our diehard fans, and now our owner about to go build this big old building. So, like, put some respect on the CLE, and damn it, I want a Super Bowl to make up for it, because I know y'all can make it happen. Put it in the script, and whatever you got to do to make it happen, make sure I get the script first, and I'll keep it on the down low. But like, until that, I'm gonna keep watching to be quiet, because I can't do nothing. So. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode of the Crockpot Podcast, man. I'm just yapping at this point, pretty much prolonging the inevitable. So I appreciate each and everybody for tuning in on the live, on the YouTube, on the Twitch, and on the X, because that's where this whole thing is being ran through right now. So shout out to each and every one of y'all, and I'll catch y'all on the next episode. Let me know in the comments, is we going on a run, or should we just pump our brakes and enjoy this win, and we'll see you next week. All right. With that being said, it's your boy Chef Zay, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.